Bridgewater Carnival is the largest illuminated carnival in the world. With spectacular 100-foot illuminated carts and walking entries, its rich tradition makes it a spectacle to behold, making it unique to the West Country. This is Bridgewater, the home of Carnival. From the very first entry to the very last, it takes 2 hours to pass any one viewing point, and on the night, 37 cups are awarded to the best entries.
It is the biggest night of the year in the 7 towns in Somerset when Carnival comes to town, and long may it continue.
Each entry is built by a carnival club and has a theme that's decided by the club. Everything is built and made by club members, with months of hard work going into creating an entry.
Being involved in Carnival exploits many talents. It's an all-year-round event. We have the fundraising activities to bring the money to be able to build what we do. We have the performances on the cart and part of the Carnival concerts. There are many factors within building the entries throughout the year. We have carpentry, electrician, model making, makeup, costume making. There's a huge amount of array for people to get involved in.
Over the last 25 years, over £600,000 has been collected at Bridgewater Carnival and shared between local charities, as well as going back into the carnival to cover the cost of staging such a large event. To trace the origins of Bridgewater Carnival, you have to go back to the gunpowder plot of 1605. It was a plot that saw Guy Fawkes and his conspirators attempt to blow up the Houses of Parliament, killing King James I. However, a mysterious letter to Lord Monteagle, the brother-in-law of one of the plotters, proved costly, and Guy Fawkes was caught on the eve of the 4th of November. 36 barrels of gunpowder were discovered in the cellar, enough to blow up Parliament 20 times over. After the failure of the plot, celebrations began.
At the start, it was mainly bonfires in the town centre, and effigies of Guy Fawkes and other local villains would be paraded down through the town centre and thrown onto the bonfire. There was a firework factory in Bridgewater, so townsfolk would make their own fireworks and let those off during the displays, and now it's evolved to the spectacular procession you see today.
It was the events of 1880 that prompted the start of the carnival. A bonfire was lit on the Cornhill a little later than normal, and everyone was dancing around merrily in costumes and masks. For some unknown reason, the fire brigade began to extinguish the bonfire.
As you can imagine, 300 people were still celebrating around the bonfire, weren't happy with this. So they decided to try and rescue and turn off the hoses, which the fire brigades were using. This was okay, apart from one particular guy called James Ware, who was a member of the fire brigade, and he was not relinquishing his fire hose. To the extent he was eventually overpowered, and he was chased through the streets of Bridgewater to his house in Clare Street, which is behind the town hall. And all the carnival lights were there, obviously trying to get to him. They were baying for his blood, basically, and they waited there for hours.
The following year, a procession was organised, and Carnival began. In 1883, the Carnival Committee staged a baptism of fire with Bridgewater squibs, which are large fireworks that people hold and fire simultaneously into the air. The squibs used to be made in homes around the town, but are now manufactured by a fireworks company especially for Bridgewater Carnival. To raise money for this display, the carnival concerts were staged, and today, Bridgewater clubs entertain crowds in the town hall for 2 weeks, with 8-minute sets based on their theme for the year. It was in the late 20th century that Carnival reached a real milestone. Up until the 1980s, entries, or carts as they're known, had limited power, which meant they had limited lighting and no moving parts. Wood, hardboard and papier-mâché were used as materials to build carts, and they were all built outside rather than in the purpose-built sheds that they're constructed in today. In 1982, Marketeers Carnival Club brought out an entry called Land of Make-Believe. It changed Carnival forever.
One of our members said about using electric motors, but we basically shelved any electric motors and we went for manual. And the roundabouts that was going around, obviously in the roof, and the trains that went round the track were all manually done.
I stood in the high street of Bridgewater with my parents, loving the carnival, and this amazing cart comes along with everything moving, and children's TV characters on, and I was absolutely mesmerised by that cart.
It basically set standards, and people went on to follow that in lots of respects.
The biggest changes in Carnival happened in the 80s and 90s. Carts got bigger, and since Marketeer's Land of Make-Believe, clubs started to have moving parts using motors instead of manpower. Clubs also started to decorate their tractors and generators, which led to entries having a much greater effect as they came down the road.
Everything then also became a 100-foot from the front to the generator. And I think that was the sort of thing that basically took off in the 80s and the 90s.
In the 1990s, as well as advances in lighting, with carts now having light shows and special effects such as smoke, the biggest advance was engineering. After the British Flag Carnival Club came out in 1990 with their memorable winning entry entitled A Pirate's Life, Gremlins Carnival Club came out the following year with the most amount of moving parts ever seen on a cart up until that year. It gave everyone a glimpse into the future. In 2005, to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the Gunpowder Plot, a statue named the Spirit of Carnival was sculpted to celebrate the occasion. In over 400 years, Carnival has moved with the times. But what does the future hold for this great tradition in Bridgwater and Somerset? One organisation who are doing their bit to ensure the survival of Carnival is the Carnivals in Somerset promotional project.
The aims of the Carnivals in Somerset promotion project really are to preserve the tradition, the heritage, the history of our unique Somerset illuminated carnivals. And the way in which we do that is we take a mobile exhibition unit around to various events throughout the year, across the country in fact, and also increasingly to schools in Somerset, Dorset, Devon, Wiltshire, to try and enthuse, try and get the younger generation involved in the carnival tradition. I think the project is very important. In fact, we have a lot of evidence that it's made a difference in terms of enthusing people to get involved in carnival, spreading the message about carnival, and also getting new people involved in carnival. New walking groups, individual masqueraders have entered carnivals directly because of our project.
I hope they do join, because there's a multitude of things to do in Carnival nowadays, more so than ever, right? For skills you can have, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a painter, sprayer, electrician.
Carnival will always survive. It's gone through many formation changes as it is to this day, and it has a unique feel to it, and the history of it will continue.
In recent memory, there is one entry that stands out above all the rest. In 2006, Gremlins Carnival Club broke new ground with engineering. With evocative music, their entry, Go Ship Deliver Us, was the first to have the whole cart rocking like a ghostly pirate ship.
The idea was an all-white cart. Never really been done before, a one colour, and one thing led to another. Our creative geniuses in the club all experimented, got together and came up with the idea of Ghost Ship. It's made other clubs think deeply into how they're going to portray an idea, whether it be dramatically or technically.
For Carnival to continue in its current form, and for carts like this to keep being created, there is no doubt the younger generation are the future of Carnival.
It is absolutely essential now we engage with the younger generations. As I say, our plan is for this carnival to survive for many more years to come. And by doing that, when we eventually retire, we can sit back and hopefully enjoy the carnival being organised by other people.
I can't see it not surviving, because even if we are, say for instance, we haven't got the money and too many rules have been brought in to stifle things like carnival, I think we'd all still walk round. I think we'll always be in carnival, whichever way we put it forward, personally.
So when the sun sets and bonfire night is approaching once again, the people of Bridgwater and the surrounding areas will be preparing their entries for the carnival. As the old nursery rhyme goes, remember, remember, the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Bridgwater has never forgotten and continues to celebrate the gunpowder plot in a unique and spectacular way, making Bridgwater the home of Carnival.